And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome to Open Connection. I'm your host, Robert Pictou. Our show today comes to you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Tsimshian people. Long before Europeans set foot in Canada, First Nations were already self-governing and possessed inherent rights that persist to this day. The treaty negotiation process in BC offers a structure for three parties, Canada, BC, and First Nations, to collaborate on their shared objectives of acknowledgement and reconciliation. We begin today's Open Connection with elected Chief Councillor Troy Sam.
My name is Troy Sam. My Kitsumkalum name is Samoyed Hots Gispadwada of Waplagat. I was one of those young people that at the age of 15, 16 years old, I want to get out of here, I want to go. And I got out of here and I went, and then I came back and now I'm still here.
Well, of course, one of those things when you came back, did you immediately get involved with band politics and stuff, or work around any of the band companies?
I started as a summer student back in, it's July 5th, 1993, when I first started as a summer student working for the band, and that was starting clearing brush and, you know, the manual labor that us young fellas did back then, and then it worked into the salmon barbecue, one of our main events over the BC Day long weekend that really interested me into starting to learn more about our culture, because our culture started, that salmon barbecue started when we raised two totem poles out at Kitsumkalum, and then the totem pole out in front of the police station here back in August of 1987.
So it was kind of, you were there to see them witness these? Or?
Yeah.
Tell me, well, how did your heart feel?
It felt great. It felt great watching all the pride in all our people, watching our culture start to get revitalized. That was sort of the beginning of our culture starting to get revitalized, because our culture has been gone for many years, but we're fortunate enough that our elders have still held on to that knowledge, and they're still with us to teach us to rekindle it.
And so when did you start getting involved with band politics? Because we know when you come as a counselor, it can be pretty tough.
My first time I got into council was in March of 2007. That was the first time I made it into, there's only 6 band counselors at that time, because our population was only 600, or in the 600s. That's when our former chief Don Roberts was elected in as chief counselor, after he served as counselor for many years before being elected as chief. And so I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to work with my uncle from 2007 all the way up until he passed away.
And we took that extra step too, and you're kind of following his lead, I guess, by leading the community. Is that correct?
Yeah. So this past, after he passed away, I sort of jumped in to help him out. This was back in 2023, because we have to start thinking about our succession planning, because you take a look at everyone working in the office, and they're not young anymore, but we want to start bringing up our young people to start helping out, so we'll have a smooth transition should we have to do any transitions like that. So I started working with Don back in 2023, and I had a good year working with him, and then the second year he was still mentoring me. He'd still phone and help me out on, okay, what do I do here? What do I do there? And it was really interesting to learn from Don and especially, and then when it came time for our general election, I just thought it'd be a natural fit that I'd throw my name in the hat and pursue carrying on to finish off the stuff that Don has started before. When he was getting sick and he sort of knew he wasn't able to, he was in retirement mode, he called me up and said, well, before you start doing your things, could you finish these things first? The biggest one is this treaty ratification. There's a few other files that we're working on, and he said, before you get any of your own ideas, I'd like to see these get finished first because they're very important, and the treaty was very important to Don.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Thank you for staying with us. As stated on the BC Treaty Commission's website, the process for negotiating traditionally modern treaties in British Columbia follows a 6-stage Made in BC framework that is set up in 1992. Over time, various innovations and policies have enhanced and evolved the negotiation process, offering more incremental and adaptive methods. Let us return to their conversation with Troy. 1993 is when the treaty process kind of was starting to get its feet going.
Yes.
That seemed to be the same year you started working.
Yeah, I was 15 years old. No whiskers, no glasses, but...
No gray.
Yeah, no gray hair. So it started the stage because it's a 6-stage process where we file the letter of intent, and then like the first couple stages are reasonably quick until we start getting into the framework agreement, which takes a little bit longer, and then the longest part was the agreement in principle, and that took quite a few years. We had problems with because there'd be change in governments that would put delays to the table, but then finally, as we completed our AIP, then there's some more attention brought to our tables, and along with us, because we're negotiating right side by side with Kitsumkalum, and even Comox was in there as well.
And I guess one of the things I should ask that the person may wondering about is why do we need a treaty? I guess it's like, because really we have established areas, but I guess does a treaty process kind of add some rights, or does it take away some rights, or does it, how does the Indian Act involved, or economic freedom, or?
One, he'll get rid of the Indian Act. That is one of the biggest things that I can't remember which meeting we're at, but one of our counterparts from Kitsumkalum, he was talking about, because they're reading the history about one of our Samoyeds, Charles Nelson, who went down to Victoria back in the early 1900s when they're first starting to bring around the Indian Act, and he said, we don't want to be part of the Indian Act, and so we want to still get out of the Indian Act, and so there will be no Indian Act. We'll be able to have self-governance. The land base will increase, and we'll have rights to the resources. We'll have a say on what happens within our traditional territory under the co-management areas, and then the treaty settlement lands are the ones that we will own.
Of course, one of those things that people may ask is, will your government structure kind of change or because of the treaty?
Yeah, well, yes, the government structure will change. We're fortunate where we are because it appears that everything's going pretty smooth for us. But the only reason it's going smooth for us is because of the help we're getting. Kitsumkalum just went through this in April 10th, they had their vote, and Comox went through this in March 8th of this year, and we're very fortunate to have their knowledge come and help us out, because even though we're going to the polls on November 1st, it doesn't mean November 2nd we're going to be our own independent self-government. That just opens up the process to the path to get into the self-governance, because there's still implementation that we have to do, and that will be the final stage of the treaty.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome back to Open Connection. Aboriginal rights belong to Indigenous people, not because the Crown grants, laws, or treaties, but because these rights are inherent to them. Indigenous peoples were once independent and self-governing over most of the lands that is now constitute Canada. Let us return to the conversation with Troy. Yeah. So, Troy, when it comes to this, this treaty and treaty process, it kind of makes a person wonders, is this like a referendum for BC? Can anyone kind of vote in this treaty?
No, this is just strictly for Kitsumkalum members. And along with voting for the treaty, we'll also be voting for the Constitution. So what the Constitution is going to do, that is going to be our governing document that will basically replace the Indian Act. So by replacing the Indian Act, we will have the ability to manage our own membership code. So for voting for November 1st, we're going to have, of course, the band members who are on the ban list, the ancestors, if you have blood ancestry to Kitsumkalum, and the adopted children of either the ancestors, people who have ancestors in Kitsumkalum, or current band members. Because after the treaty goes through, we'll be able to take a look at the membership code and start looking at rewriting it where we could be more inclusive, because currently the Indian Act is very not inclusive, because you have the people split between on and off reserve.
If I am a person who is of ancestry, but I don't know for sure, how would I go about getting this done?
We have an enrollment process through the treaty office. Their contact information is, and then we'll insert that. And so there's a couple of forms that you fill out to enroll, and then there's an enrollment committee that will review the forms. So Bruce Lowe, he's our enrollment coordinator that's working at the Kitsumkalum Treaty Office.
And if I remember correctly, you kind of have a rough idea of how many members are out there, right?
Yeah, currently, as of Monday, we have 744 eligible voters on our ban list right now. And currently, the numbers are looking pretty good. We're sitting at 517 who have enrolled. We want to reach as many band members as we can. We want to be inclusive of all the band members who are eligible of that. We want to get close to that 744 number as we can. So the enrollment process will be open right up till voting day. If there's any questions about it, reach out to the treaty office, contact Bruce Lowe, and we could answer any questions about that.
And I guess one of those questions it would be is like, okay, I am a registered Kitsumkalum band member, but I live outside the reserve. There's no mail-in ballot because Canada Post is on strike. What do you do in those instances?
The committee, they're going to be couriering out the votes, the ballots, and we're putting together a process for telephone voting.
Do that over again, sorry.
Okay.
So your answer is going to be
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Special voting rules, which are established during World War I, offer a way for electors who cannot reach their polling stations on Election Day or during advance polls to cast their votes while ensuring the security and confidentiality of their ballots. The eligibility for voting for special ballot has been broadened multiple times since it was first introduced. It has been nearly universal since 1993. In this final segment of Open Connection, Troy explains how Kitsumkalum members can vote on the treaty process.
Due to the Canada Post strike, our voter packages are going to be sent out through courier to all the members that are off reserve. What's going to be included in that package, we're going to have instructions for our members to vote online, vote over the telephone, and also our advance polls are going to be open October 20th of this year.
I guess when we have to, here in BC, we always got to look back at the Nisga'a Treaty because that was kind of the first one that kind of broke ground. And has the Kitsumkalum Treaty, I guess, been updated or have you learned from the Nisga'a Treaty?
They have worked so hard over those past few years, and they made so much headway. One of the biggest things of this treaty is that this is going to be a living document. This living document means that this agreement isn't the end. This is the start of working with Canada, working with British Columbia, and we'll be able to open the treaty every 10 years to see what's not working, what's working, and then with that, it's that unique.
It's kind of interesting. It's almost like that good manager to kind of checks back on the employee to see how they're doing and then makes adjustments from there.
Yeah, we'll be able to take a look at and see what's working, what's not working, and currently with implementation, we'll be able to start and evolve. How it is today, it's not going to be the same tomorrow. So this is definitely one of the reasons why they push for the living agreement, just so it evolves with the time.
So Troy, is there anything I might have missed that you'd like to add?
We want to reach out to all our members. We want to reach out to our members on reserve. We want to reach out to our members off reserve. We want to reach out to our members in Japan. We want to reach out to our members in Jamaica. We want to reach out to our members New York and beyond. We want to reach as many of our voting members as we can to have their voices heard in this upcoming vote. November 1st, 2025, Kitsumkalum, this is our time. I want to encourage every single one of you to stay engaged. Come to the meetings, ask questions, have conversations with your family. Share what you learn with those who can't be here. This decision is not just for today. It's for our future generations. So when you're talking with friends and family, remind them, your voice matters, your vote matters, our unity matters. Because November 1st, we will make history together.
The Kitsumkalum pole raising was a rare and very special ceremony, incorporating a wonderful mixture of native tradition with a few modern touches. People from all over the province came to share a moment that, for this band, hasn't happened in over 150 years. Over 2,000 people showed up, jamming the reserve entrance and lining Highway 16 for a glimpse of the occasion. At first, the afternoon took the feel of a parade. Baton twirlers led the way for marching bands. But then the drums began, and the totem poles were hoisted to the shoulders of band members and spectators. They emerged from the workshed where carvers have been shaping the cedar poles since January. 80 people were needed to carry the poles down the gravel road and lower them slowly onto supports for the ceremony to begin.
The new pole represents the people here today, the young ones, the new generation. The people that were bypassed for 3 or 4 generations. We're here to try and pick up what was forgotten.
It was more than 150 years ago that this ceremony was held on the Kitsumkalum Reserve, but they had not forgotten how to actually raise the poles. In the past, instead of this concrete base, the totem was lowered into a hole where a live slave was sacrificed. Nylon ropes weren't used 150 years ago, but manpower is still the requisite for raising a totem pole. Hundreds of spectators grabbed ropes and started both poles on a rhythmic ascent. Calling for people to go easily, Chief Cliff Bolton watched as the smaller pole easily rose from the ground. But the larger totem proved to be too heavy, and there were tense moments as people added braces and lowered the pole back down. Tradition has it that if a totem falls during the ceremony, it has to stay there until it rots. But the drum started a half hour later, and native history was made.
Keep those braces there. Keep those braces there. Hold them there. Keep the braces. Follow them.
And you were here to witness it. We are honored.
What makes it all the nicer is that it's by the people of Kalum, for the people of Kalum.
Celebrations continued all day, with native dances and an enormous feast for all who attended, culminating a day the Kitsumkalum decided to share with the entire community.
It's for everyone to enjoy, and it's for everyone to see that this is the Kitsumkalum's place, the people of the Gillikill. Our people wanted it, and our elders wanted it, and now it's here.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Open Connection. The greatest distance in the existence of man is not from here to there, but the connection from his mind and heart. If we can conquer that distance, we can soar like an eagle and realize our immensity within. I'm Robert Pictou.